So, an introduction. Jack and Gabriel. Jack from the world, and of course Gabriel from the world too, but I just arrived in Santiago about 4 months from Beijing, China. Gabe, I'll let you introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is Gabriel. I'm from Chile. I'm Chilean. In fact, I'm living in Santiago since my born. My English is not so precise, so it's not very good, but I'm trying to do my best effort for Jack and for you both. So if there's any word that you can't understand, try to excuse myself.
Okay, thanks, Gabe. So what we're going to talk about tonight is a little bit to do with my new service that Gabe knows about, Pairing Today, which is a website, www.pairingtoday.com, and we're going to discuss relationships, and I'm going to pairing in actual relationship, in this case between men and women, because Gabe and I are both heterosexual. But what I was going to bring up about this, and I never see relationships thought of as a means of a free trade. And what I want to do is explain my viewpoint that love, in fact, is the ultimate and highest free trade in the world. I'm saying what you're actually trading are values. Love is the trade of values. I was going to ask you, what are you getting? What are you getting from her in return for what you're giving her? I mean, what do two people who are so-called in love, what are they trading, finally? I say they're trading their own personal value, their own personal worth. This is where I'm bringing this in. I seldom ever hear this. Rand comes the closest to defining love like I do, and that love is a trade of values. It's a free trade of values. In other words, look at it this way. You fall in love with someone that has a set of features, characteristics that you love, that you're dearly attracted to, and if you're more mature, it's just not a physical thing, or it's just not they're a millionaire. It's the sum total of who they are that attracts you. And
I love her as much as, and even as a never no one will love her. How you can value how much love you are offering to the other one, because in the case of money you can, you say, hey, I want 1,000, 100,000 or whatever. But
okay, here's
because someone will say, hey, I gave her all the love that I have, all my
because love is a self-subjective value. It's not objective. You value your love of me if I'm a woman, but I don't value your love, because your love is just subjective. You can't objectively measure it.
Okay, that's right.
But we can measure it this way and only this way, and this is where I bring the free market in. If I were the woman, maybe like Elisa is, your girlfriend, and you value who I am, and you value who you are, and it's an equal, intimate exchange. This is what I try to teach and enable people to achieve. You've got to have equal value and equal power and control to have the kind of highest relationship, and that takes maturity. And just being in love, I say I love you, that's not love to me, that's sex. You're talking hormones, you're not talking mind. So I think of love as a great, true love, mature love, is the great venture of life, the great adventure. So I use the metaphor of the sea of life, and I say each of us is a boat. You're a boat, you're a ship, you're a ship. I'm a ship. We each have our own ship, and there's two kinds of relationships. There is a friendship, and there is a partnership. Now, each of us is a life ship. We're all individual bodies, and I use the metaphor of the ship is the captain, the pilot, is our mind. Our ship is our body. Our motor is our gene machine, our sexual drive. That's our motor. Our rudder, the steering wheel, is reason. So we must use reason to guide our life ship wherever we want to go on the sea of life. It's a great venture. We're born on the sea of life. I mean, I love looking at it in this way. It's an incredibly beautiful metaphor to me.
So the most important thing, and probably the only thing that is value in life, is this adventure with someone else.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So imagine, extend the metaphor. You, as Elisa has her life ship.
Yeah.
Gabriel has his life ship. You're both on the sea of life together. If you are in a friendship mode of relationship, you're both separate boats and you're together, like you're going to travel to Europe, and you're each in your own life ship, and you travel side by side, and maybe it'll last through Europe, and maybe you'll come back and say, hey, it's been wonderful with you, and but in the meantime, maybe you'll have met someone else that's even more interesting and more fulfilling to you, and maybe she will, or maybe both of you will say, no, wow, this is what, geez, Gabe, whoa, you are the one that holds all of my values. You are me as a woman, and I am you as a man. You are my highest value. I value you actually more than I value me, which is what a free trade is. I trade myself for you. You trade yourself for me because you are the most valuable thing in the world, and you increase my value because you know how valuable I am. You objectify my subjective value. Oh God, I see it now. You validated me. I finally found someone that knows me, understands my value.
For me, it makes sense, guys. I don't know if you agree with Jack, but I'm totally with him.
So let's continue the metaphor. Okay, you're two life ships, and you've chosen to have a friendship, which means you sail side by side. The other relationship is the partnership.
Yeah.
And there you decide, both of your life ships, you create a partnership that you take your life ship and you put it on top of the big boat, and she does hers and she puts it on top. That third ship is the partnership that contains both of your life ships together.
Understand your idea, understand you're proposing that probably your partnership will be increased during your life. For example, my partnership won't be the same at my 20s, than my 30s,
absolutely,
than my 40s.
Yeah, and you may have to sink 3 or 4 of those partnerships before you get one that actually holds you up on the sea of life. And this is okay, because we learn by doing. We learn by making mistakes. And that's the creative adventure. This is what I want Pairing Today to get to all of you, to say that it's a great adventure. And if we do part and each go our own way with our life ship, it's not the end of our life. It's a new beginning, and we should love each other and care for each other as best we can. I know it hurts, and I'm not saying it doesn't.
Even after the broke.
Absolutely. Once your life ships part, and again, using the metaphor, remember with the partnership, 1 + 1 makes 3.
Yeah.
With the friendship, 1 + 1 makes 2. You stay separate.
Yeah.
But you can have committed separateness. You can commit to Elisa, you will sail together in your life ships for maybe 2-3 years, and maybe it's beautiful. But you don't want to commit to a partnership, and that might be wise. Or you might say, let's commit to a partnership. Then you'll find that third ship that you've built, and of course it's imaginary, but the relationship must become more important than each of your life ships, or else it's not a partnership. Because obviously with the partnership, you steer your ship, she steers her ship, but when you put both of your life ships on the partnership, both of you are captains with only one steering wheel. And only one carrying hold that carries the two of you. And that may run into the iceberg of the Titanic, and the whole thing may sink. And then it's very, very painful. But that's life. And you learn from that. Those icebergs are out there.
My values, or her values, change. So then, when there's a change, a big change, it becomes an iceberg. So probably you can use the word like change
meet that challenge.
meet that challenge, then you're gonna find an iceberg.
Yeah.
It's like challenge is an iceberg.
Good, exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't need to run into it. True?
Yeah.
I mean, like you and her, using your example, okay, we want to move outside. If it's going to threaten the partnership, you both bring it out on the table. And this is what I do with pairing
And we try
today.
to find a way.
Yeah, you say, because really in the end, any partnership exists if it's a true partnership, which means you want to be there because it brings you joy in your life. And anything less than that is not, to me, a partnership. If you're just making do for security reasons, that's not a partnership. That's a hospital ship. That's, it's two wounded people on a hospital ship. So if the potential iceberg you see out there is this shift of the geography of where you want to be, if you value the partnership more than what you want, and she values it more than what she wants, you will make the sort of compromise that is not a compromise. You both will be happy to do it because the relationship is more important than your life ship or her life ship.
Yeah.
The third is more important.
Yeah.
If we're going to have that partnership, then we should, before we do it, should we be sexually exclusive or should we not? And if we should be, why? Talk it out. Use someone like me as a sounding board to really get this out. Because most people never look at it.
For you, it's not obvious. It's something that you have to talk about it.
I think.
Okay.
Don't you?
I don't know. I think the thing is that for me, I belong to this culture, Latin American culture, and here is like an principle. It's like obviously, most of the people doesn't question about people that don't. You don't ask yourself about if you can have another partner or not. It's like
You just
if you are in a commitment with a woman or with a man or whatever, then it's like a result. That's obviously that is gonna be your only one partner.
But do you see the problem of that? Remember I said assume, ask, you and me. You make assumptions and it's disastrous. That's inviting the iceberg.
Of course.
So I think you should, with like pairing today, you should get something like the Prepare Enrich inventory, or I have many tools that you can use to know each other's values. That's the core. You really have to know ahead and try to examine as many different situations that will as many icebergs ahead as you possibly can see. You need to think about it ahead before you decide even to have your partnership. If you don't, you're going to hit one of them sooner or later, and probably sooner than later. So I think anyone at any age, whether they're in a temporary situation or going for a permanent partnership, should be asking these really deep, specific questions. Do we want to be sexually exclusive? If so, why? Why do you want that? Why do I want that? And as a man at 29, my dick is still talking pretty big to me and is a big, I see that beautiful woman, so I'm going to have trouble maybe controlling this, but I want to be honest with you. So I might need your help to help me control this. And in fact, I would talk about this. Do you know horses have blinders?
Yeah.
I would say to men, including myself, I think you should put blinders on. And when I was with Catherine, who was my partner, and we had a partnership, unbelievably so, I would say, I'm putting on my blinders, dear, and that beautiful woman, I see her, and I can admire that, but I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. So I'm not going to allow my dick to talk to me. I'm not going to allow my dick to be the great dictator. So I could control it, and I did successfully. And I think most men that are mature enough to do that realize it's of greater value than just slipping your dick in for one night. It's probably not worth it. So you can control it, right?
Yeah.
If you can't, well, then you take the results of that. Sure? Yeah.
Well, guys, I think
time to go.
We finished for today.
All right. So
it was a great meeting.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you, Jack.
A pleasure. Okay. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.